So good morning everyone. Today in the current video we are going to learn the differences between carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle. Okay. So first difference is that the carbon cycle is a biogeochemical. Okay. Biogeochemical process. Okay. So what does this process involve? It involves the exchange of carbon. Okay, we are learning the carbon cycle. So this process involved the exchange of carbon between, so where the carbon will be exchanged, it will be exchanged between atmosphere, plants, animals, microorganisms. Okay, I will write it, microorganisms, and minerals of earth. Okay, so carbon cycle involves, it's a biogeochemical process and it involves the exchange of carbon between atmosphere, these components, atmosphere, plants, animal, microorganism, and the minerals of the earth. Okay, so now you understood from the name that nitrogen cycle, it is also biogeochemical process. Okay, but this chemical process, the name itself suggests that it will study the exchange of, or it will study, not the exchange, it will study the nitrogen transformation. Okay, how the nitrogen is transformed into various form. Okay, between atmosphere, living organism, and inorganic part of earth. Okay, so I will repeat again. The carbon cycle, it's a biogeochemical process that involves the exchange of carbon between atmosphere, plants, animals, microorganisms, and minerals of the earth. Whereas nitrogen cycle, it's a biogeochemical process and it involves the nitrogen transformation into various living form, that is the atmospheric between atmosphere, living organisms, and inorganic part of the earth. Okay, so the next difference is, in the carbon cycle the main process include photosynthesis. Okay, so how the carbon dioxide will be exchanged? In the form of photosynthesis, respiration, combustion, and decomposition. So through this process the carbon will be exchanged, decomposition. Okay, and the nitrogen cycle, it involves the conversion of nitrogen okay, because the nitrogen is transformed, because the living things, they cannot directly take the nitrogen. So the nitrogen present in the air, it needs to be transformed in the air or in the soil that is present, it needs to be transformed. So the nitrogen cycle, it will convert nitrogen into the absorbing form, that are the nitrates and ammonia. Okay, the third difference between the two is, in the carbon cycle, carbon dioxide is directly metabolized during the photosynthesis process. Okay, so carbon dioxide is directly metabolized, and I already told that nitrogen, it has to be reduced. Okay, so it has to be transformed. So either it can be transformed through reduction or oxidation. So it has to be either reduced or oxidized to be utilized. Okay, and the last point, last difference between the two processes, in the carbon cycle, the biological fixation carbon, it moves from living system and eventually it returns to atmosphere. So the carbon, it will first move to the living system, okay, and eventually from there it will again enter to the atmosphere, okay, it will be returned. Okay, in case of nitrogen cycle, biological as well as physical fixed nitrogen from atmosphere, it will enter ecosystem as a nutrient for the plant. Okay, so this fixed nitrogen enter ecosystem as a nutrient for the plant. Okay, so before closing of this video, I will just go through quickly. We already now know after watching this video that carbon cycle is a biogeochemical process that involves the exchange of carbon between atmosphere, living beings, and mineral of the earth. Okay, whereas the nitrogen cycle, the nitrogen is transformed so that it can be taken up by atmosphere, living organism, and inorganic part of the earth. Okay, so the carbon is exchanged via the process of photosynthesis, respiration, combustion, and decomposition, whereas the nitrogen cycle converts nitrogen into the nitrates and ammonia. So carbon dioxide is metabolized directly into the in the process of photosynthesis, whereas the nitrogen, it has to be either reduced or the oxidized to become useful. Okay, the fourth difference and the last difference is that the carbon that is fixed, okay, it will move from the living system and then eventually it is returned to the atmosphere. And the nitrogen cycle, it will fix the nitrogen, and the fixed nitrogen in the forms of nitrate and the ammonia, they will enter ecosystem as a nutrient for the plants. Okay, so that's all in this video. Thank you for watching the video.